Alright, yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to a different type of video. I haven't done one of these yet, so I'm curious on seeing how this is going to go. But essentially, I want to talk about how are PaperX going to win this event. I think they would. I would personally say that they're the clear favourites for this event. You could maybe argue like 100 Thieves as well, but I don't know. I think this is PaperX's tournament. I don't think PaperX are going to get an easier tournament to win than this one. Of course, they played against FBX in the final in like 2022. Champions last year, they played against EG, and they've all been pretty strong opponents. You know, EG were, I would say, the clear winners of that event, and same with FPX. I think this year, at least with Shanghai, it seems a lot more balanced. There isn't a clear winner. So yeah, let's talk about how our PaperX going to win this event. So first of all, I just wanted to talk about their split for this year, or at least this year. So overall, it was pretty clean. You know, they only lost like 5 maps, apart from Genji in the final. But they won the majority of their games, only losing to Team Secret, which is a bit of an anomaly. I think. I know Frost spoke about it in an interview, but I think it was a bit of luck. I think PaperX didn't play their best, and Team Secret looked like they were on top of their game. So a bit of an anomaly, and I don't think if there was a rematch the day after, this would be the same result. I think it was just a bit of an off day for them, and Team Secret looked like they were in their peak form. Of course, banger final in the Pacific final, where it went the full 5 maps. Genji managed to scrape it back a little bit, but at the end of the day, PaperX took it away. So yeah, if we look at the scores, pretty clean. They only lost to DRX, I think on Ascent, I'm pretty sure it was. And DRX's Ascent looked really strong this split. So yeah. Now, if we look at their map pool for this split, I've done this from, I think, the start of May to now. And yeah, if we see their overall statistics, their clear best map, in my opinion, is Lotus. Even though it's not the highest win rate, I think Lotus and Sunset are both their strongest maps. Forsaken on the Breach is insane. This guy can cook up whatever he wants, and because of the vocal team that PaperX is, you can have any of the players say, Jason, come stun this for me, come flash this for me, and he is an insane, if not one of the best supporting players in VCT, full stop. Of course, their Icebox has a 75% win rate, and I wouldn't say that this is a good map for them. Like, it's okay, but Icebox is... I cannot emphasize my hatred for this map, because it is just a wishy-washy map. Like, it can go either way. Like, if you're the best team at Icebox, it just takes one day for you to not be feeling it as much as your opponent, and you can lose. But yeah, if we look at Split, for example, another map where they've got a 100% win rate, despite them only playing it once, they had a really strong defense, and their attack was a little bit weaker. But yeah, if we go on to the next slide, these are their bans. So they ban Icebox and they ban Breeze. Breeze is their main permaban, and then Icebox is their secondary. And I think this is really important, because if we look at like the whole of Shanghai so far, the most played maps are Lotus, Sunset, and probably Ascent, I would say. And yeah, I think one of the biggest weaknesses of PaperX's map pool so far is their bind. Their bind doesn't seem great, and their Ascent seems a little bit weak. I think, if I remember right, their map pool, like permabans for the final against Genji, was Breeze, Icebox, and Ascent. And then if we look at their Ascent, they don't have the traditional Killjoy. They have a Sentinel in Sage instead, which is a bit of a weakness in my opinion, because Sage simply just doesn't offer the same utility and impact as a Killjoy does. You know, what does she have? She has the wall and the slows. The wall, as long as you find out where it is at the start of the round when attacking, you can pretty much just play the game how you want. Whereas a Killjoy, you have to find out and seek where the alarm bot and the turret is, and you have to break that. Whereas with the wall, it's black and white, like it's almost in plain sight every time. So I would say that this is a bit of a weakness, and they just can't really play the default Ascent comp. Like, something on Jet, you've got Devi or Forsaken on the Initiator, and then you've got Jing, who's left, who can't really play Initiator, can't play controller and can only play Sentinel, and I don't think he can learn Killjoy. I don't think Killjoy suits his playstyle. So yeah, and then of course talking about the bans, I don't think Paper X are bad at Breeze, to be honest. I think they're just hiding, because I think comp-wise it suits everyone pretty well, other than maybe a Cypher. I don't know who you would put on the Cypher. But I think Breeze has a lot of versatility in terms of compositions. So if I'm honest, I think Paper X have cooked up a crazy comp on this map. In previous tournaments and events, they've pulled out a Breach, you know, maybe an Astra, something along those lines. So I do think it's possible for them to maybe go double dive and then, you know, them just have the Viper instead of the Cypher. But I do think that you could work around it, and I think Devi is pretty flexible. I mean, who am I kidding? Forsaken can play Cypher, and then you can put Devi on the Sova. So I guess that works. Now, let's talk about who they're going to pick as their opponent. And I think we don't have the final results yet, but it's between... who's it between? It's between Foot and FPX, Heretics, and Lev, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm going to go ahead and say, from my predictions that I did like an hour ago, Lev are going to win, and Team Heretics is honestly a 50-50 between FPX and Heretics. So I've drafted up a pretty bland and basic format of how I think this is going to go if Paper X were to win. If they are going to pick anyone, and of course it depends on which team can pick first. You know, if you get to pick your first... If you're the first team to pick your enemy, then it's perfect, but it's very RNG. So let's go ahead and assume that Paper X pick either Foot or probably FPX Heretics. Those are the teams that, if I was Paper X, I would want to play first. Of course, 100 Thieves are quite clearly going to pick G2. However, I could see them maybe backing out of the G2 pick and picking FPX if it came to it. So yeah, this is the basic format. So Paper X play Foot. Assuming they win that, they then go on to play 100 Thieves, because I think 100 Thieves are going to beat G2. As long as they are looking okay on stage. I think 100 Thieves, this might not actually go the way of which I think. Of course, if 100 Thieves have stage nerves, getting adjusted to the environment and everything, I think G2 can take this. But either way, I think this is pretty clear for Paper X to just win. I think the 100 Thieves game, if they do play, could be a banger, you know, like in terms of map pool. I think Paper X would probably lose out on Bind. Lotus? I think 100 Thieves Lotus isn't bad, but I think Paper X would win Lotus. So it's probably going to go 3 maps regardless. And then, assuming that, of course, this goes as I've predicted, we'll have a Paper X Gen.G rematch in which I do believe Paper X will win. At this point, I do think Gen.G are going to get burnout, and I think they're showing quite a lot. So they might not even beat... I think they'll beat whoever comes out of the lowers, but I do think that they might struggle against Fnatic, just because with all the fucking coaching staff that they have, as well as the players are ready, like they are ready to play at this point. I think Gen.G could lose this, and then in theory, Paper X go to the final. So I think it's not as simple and basic as you probably think, and I definitely don't see it being this easy for them to go. But this is what I'm sort of picturing for them to win the event. So yeah, and then we're gonna go on to what players are going to carry this event for Paper X, and I've narrowed it down to 2. One of them being Forsaken, and we'll get onto the second one in a second. But yeah, I mean, we have to talk about Forsaken. Like, this guy is insane. He is probably the most important part of Paper X. If we look at his stats and his agent stats, the guy plays everything. He plays Sentinel, he plays Initiator, he plays Harbor. He can literally do anything. And this is over 60 days, so this isn't even accounting for Madrid when he was playing a bit of the Yoru, and, you know, a bit of Flex Duelist. So I think with the Viper changes, and if Paper X, and I really hope that they do, they can cook up a crazy comp for later into the tournament that they pull out and they just go, yo, you don't have any VODs on us for this. We've practiced it. We haven't shown it to any teams. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, I mean, crazy stats for the guy all around. His KO arguably being one of the most effective agents, but I think Breach comes close second, if not first, just because he can support and set his teammates up really, really effectively. I think Sky and Sova, I wouldn't want to see him on these. I want him to play agents where he can cook up what he wants. And I think these 3 agents in particular offered the most. And then the second one's Something. Now, Something, bro, this guy is crazy. Like, mechanically, but also, like, I know that it got spoken about in a previous article. This guy started calling. He's been a lot more vocal, saying how he wants to play the game. And I think if you can have a duelist that is vocal and has a clear direction in how they want to play and win, that is one of the most important factors of winning, but also being a winner in a grand international championship. And then Something stats, not as many agents, clearly, but I think if I was to highlight 2, it would be these 2, the Jet and the Gecko. This guy's Gecko is insane. He plays exactly like a Jet in a way. You know, he's picking up the ARP. He's sort of doing whatever he wants to. You know, he can be his own man. He can flash. He can send the wingman in, and he's cycling this Gecko constantly because he's fragging and he's planting and defusing. So I think this will be an important factor for them to win the event. And then of course his Jet. The guy just hit shots. I mean, what can I say? Like, what? 244 ACS all around and a 54% win rate. That's disgusting. And I think just give this guy an op, and it's really hard. If you're attacking against Paper X and Something's got op, like, you've really got to think about that, because the guy will push. He'll play passive. He's unpredictable. Like, you can't really read into what he's thinking. And I think Paper X is such a versatile team and very flexible, in which they have so many different defaults and strats, where for an IGL that, you know, if we're thinking of like Boostio or maybe Boaster, you won't have your traditional read into an opponent when you're playing Paper X, because they're crazy. So will they win the event? Will Paper X finally get their championship trophy? Will they be the first Pacific team to win? Yes. I think this is their event. I think if they don't win this event, it is a bit of a letdown, and I do think that it does cause major issues. I think especially with Jing coming back, it's something about the storyline. It's the story for me. Like, they have to win this event. However, if they don't and they come up short, I do think that Champions is perfect for them. They should have enough championship points to qualify for Champions automatically, maybe just win a couple more games. But I think this is the event for Paper X. Come on, let's do this. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and if you want me to do more of these for like Fnatic or 100 Thieves, let me know, and I'll do my best. But yeah, yeah. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.